Hi there, my name is Travis from Soul Remedy, and I wanted to talk about ceremonies that involve plant medicines compared to ceremonies that don't involve plant medicines. So, a little background on me: I've been working with plant medicines about 13 or so years, uh, ceremonially for that long. I kind of experimented a little bit before that, but I've worked with most of the plant medicines people are familiar with: ayahuasca, San Pedro, mushrooms, combo, rape, salvia, amanita muscaria, all kinds of plant medicines. But I also have some experience with ceremonies that don't involve plant medicine. So I work with the Keros tribe. They chew coca, which is a plant, but they don't do like visionary ceremonies with that or anything like that. It's not visionary medicine. They mostly are known for doing ceremonies with their healing altars and for making offerings to the mountain spirits and Mother Earth. And I actually have to say, their despacho offerings are maybe the most powerful ceremony I've ever participated in. Incredibly powerful. And I also have some experience doing Lakota style sweat lodge and pipe ceremony. Um, I have a lot of friends that have done vision questing. I'm hoping to do a quest at some point myself. I have friends that go to Sundance. I've seen shamans like in Asia that work with the drumming style or other styles of shamanism. And to me, it's all ceremony. If the spirits are there and the medicine is pure, then it's all good. So for me, my spiritual path started without any plant medicines. It started because I was drowning in the ocean, had an out of body experience. And that was, to this day, probably the most intense spiritual experience I've ever had, and there were no plant medicines involved. A lot of people say religion started with psychedelics. Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe it started with people confronting death and having near death experiences, or starving and having out of body experiences, hiding in a cave and having sleep deprivation or sensory deprivation. There's a lot of ways to have spiritual experiences, and you can start learning from those. And plant medicines, I think, are probably the easiest way for people from our culture to connect with their spirituality and connect with nature. So I think they're very important, and I think that's kind of the future of our next phase of spirituality for modern culture on our planet. And I love working with medicines. That's the type of ceremony that I recommend the most. I don't think it's better than other styles of ceremony, though. I just think it's really easy to find some good plant medicine practitioners these days, and it's a really quick way to work through all this accumulated trauma and stress and repressed emotions that a lot of people in our culture are dealing with, and it's a really quick way to connect with our spirituality, and it's really consistent. But at the same time, I've had just as powerful experiences in sweat lodge as I have in ayahuasca ceremony. If you're sitting in a good lodge that's well led, it's extremely powerful. That's I actually probably prefer sitting in sweat lodge than plant medicine ceremonies, just because I enjoy it a little more, and I like not having to like take something that alters my consciousness so much. I like being grounded. I like being sober and present. That's a pretty awesome feeling. But I don't have nearly as much experience with sweat lodge. I've been working with plant medicines, and I have to give them credit. Like, plant medicine saved my life. I was not a happy person. I wasn't living a good life before I found plant medicines, and they helped me turn that around. And I've seen them help a lot of people. So to me, I kind of see that as the future where a lot of things are going in our culture. But I don't think it's the only valid method. I don't think all spirituality necessarily came from that. I think it probably popped up in all different regions of the earth in all different unique kinds of ways. People having near death experiences, people learning how to do sweat lodge, people just praying and really needing help, and really looking up to a higher power to help them, and something coming out and coming to them from that. People drumming, doing all these other beautiful ceremonies. Like I said, if the medicine's pure and it's a good practitioner and the spirits are there, it's going to be a good ceremony. There's something really beautiful and simple and magical about like vision questing. Anybody can go into the forest. You don't eat or drink for a couple days, but you just pray and pray and pray, and the spirits show up, and you can have a powerful experience. And you don't need anything outside yourself to help you. You just go into nature and pray and cry for help. And to me, there's something really beautiful and pure about that. At the same time, I think these plants are all around us for a reason. They're part of nature, we're part of nature, and I think they're here to help us, and they can definitely help us. So I recommend working with plant medicines. I recommend ceremonies that don't work with plant medicines. The most important factor to me is who's leading the ceremony and what quality is the ceremony being guided at. If it's a good practitioner and they're doing good work, then you're probably going to have a good experience and find a lot of healing and insight and love, whether or not there are plant medicines involved. So that's just my 2 cents on the topic. I would love to hear from you if you got experiences in both types of ceremony, or if you just have your own thoughts about either type, why you think one's better than the other, why you think neither one is better than the other, why you have a preference, what do you think's any thoughts you have on the topic, just please share below. Feel free to comment. Thank you for joining the discussion. See you later.